Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. Today in Go Math, we are going to be talking about lesson 7.9, which is all about the fives on the clock. Last week, we listened to Genevieve Goings' How Many Fives Around the Clock? It was so catchy, I've been singing it all week. So let's go ahead and sing it again just to get the fives in our minds. Ready? Let's go. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. Tick tock, how many fives around the clock? Spin around with me. Tick tock, how many fives around the clock? 12 fives, that's 60. Just a quick review. Remember that the small hand will be called the hour hand. It will point to the hour and it will tell us which hour we are talking about. And then the longer hand is our minute hand. It will travel around the clock quicker than the hour hand, and it tells us the minutes of the time that we are figuring out. Right now, as it shows, the hour hand is pointing directly at the 9, and the minute hand is directly on the 12, so we know that it is exactly 9 o'clock. One thing that I want you to remember is that when we look at our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, we're actually going to be thinking in fives. And it'll take a little time for us to get used to that. But when you look at the 1, pretty soon you're just going to say 5. So if this minute hand was pointing to the 1, you would say it's 9:05. If it was pointing to the 4, let's say this one's not there anymore, it was pointing to the 4, what would we say? It's 9:20. If the minute hand is pointing to the 8, what time is it? We have to count by fives to find out. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. So every single time when you see the 8, you're going to automatically think 40 because that's how many minutes have passed. 40 minutes when it's on the 8. And look, let's tell what time it is. It's between the 12 and the 1, the hour hand is. So it is 12:40. Okay, so what time is it? We have to look at where the minute hand is. And we notice that it is 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Whenever it is on the 5, it's always going to be a 25 minutes have passed. And let's look at where the hour hand is. It's between the 8 and the 9. And that shows us that what? It is 8:25. This is a really fun story problem. Mr. Brady fixes broken computers. Look at the start and finish times for his work on one computer. How many minutes did he work on the computer? So if we look at his start time, the hour hand is pointing to the 11 and the minute hand is straight up on the 12. That tells us what time is it. It is 11 o'clock. That's when he started, at 11 o'clock. He finished working on the computer at, what time is this? The hour hand is pointing to the 12 and the minute hand is also pointing to the 12. That means it's 12 o'clock. All right, so that is 12 o'clock. So he worked from 11 to 12. Now we know that is 1 hour because it went from the 11 to the 12, so we know it's 1 hour. But how many minutes did he work? That's what it's asking us. So read your questions carefully. We have to find out how many minutes he worked. So let's go ahead and count it and see. You might already know the answer by the time we get done. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. 60 minutes has passed to make it a whole new hour and he worked on the computer for 1 hour. Since you are getting so good at knowing where fives are on your clock, I'm sure that you can even tell me where this is at, where this minute hand is pointing to, without even singing or counting all the way around the clock. So if we know that this 12 is going to always be 60 and the minute hand is pointing to the 11, it's just 5 minutes before 60, so what would that be? It would be 55. Now let's look at our hour hand. Look how close it is to the 6, but it's not on the 6 yet. So we cannot say that it's 6 o'clock because there's 5 more minutes before it turns 6 o'clock. So we have to say that it is 5:55. I love it when I look at the time and the numbers are all the same. I think it's so cool. Dun, dun, dun. It's a time challenge again. All right, you're going to see if you can figure out what time it is before Mrs. Bastian writes it. Okay, look at the hour hand, look at the minute hand, and tell me what it is. Ready, set, go. We know the hour hand's between the 8 and the 9. And then 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. That means it is, I hope you already said it, it is 8:25. Very good job. And look at this one. The hour hand's between the 6 and the 7. And it is again on the 25. So you know that this one is going to be, what is it? 6:25. Let's look at this one. Ooh, you know this one. You're fast at these because you know when that minute hand is pointing straight to the 6, it's going to be 30. So look where the hour hand is between the 8 and the 9. We have to say it's 8:30. And then let's look at this one. Ooh, look where the hour hand is. It's between the 5 and the 6, and the minute hand is close to that, and it is on the 5, so that means it's 25. So it is 5:25. They asked us up here, which one's 8:25? Well, look at that. We found it right away. Good job, boys and girls. You're so good at these because we know that when that minute hand is pointing on the 6, it's already going to be 30. And just look at the hour hand between the 4 and the 5. That means it is 4:30. Let's look at this one. Whenever the minute hand is on the 9, it's always going to be 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. That's a really important one to remember, that when it's on the 9, it's always going to be a 45. So let's look at where the minute hand is, or the hour hand, excuse me. The hour hand's between the 2 and the 3, so we know that it is 2:45. Let's look at this one. The minute hand's on the 2. That means it's 10 past. So it is going to be, ooh, this one's fun, 10:10. And then this one, we know that 8 is 40. 5 less than that would be 35. So look where the hour hand is between the 8 and the 9. It is 8:35. With these, they give us the digital time and they want us to show the time on the analog clock. So they show us 7:25. They show us where the hour hand is, and we need to write the minute hand. We know the minute hand, when it's on the 25, is going to be on which number? Can you guess? Do you know already? Let's go ahead and make sure we know. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So when it's on the 5, it's going to always be 25. And so we are going to draw this minute hand pointing directly at that 5, and that shows that it's 7:25. Let's look at this one. 1:50. Ooh, look at this. Guess what? They show us where the hour hand is supposed to be. Now we need to find out where 50 is. Okay, let's count it. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. So 50 is on the 10. So when you draw that minute hand pointing directly on the 10, that's always going to be a 50. Always, always. Let's look at this one. 5:05. Oh my goodness. The hour hand is on the 5. And we have to just draw 5 after. which will be directly on that 1. Ta-da! We really have to use our brain on this one, boys and girls, because it says, my hour hand points between the 8 and the 9. In 35 minutes, it will be the next hour. What time is it? In 35 minutes. Now we know that when it's on the 7, we know we've gone 35 minutes around the clock, but that's not what it's asking us. It's asking us in 35 minutes, it will be the next hour. So we have to actually kind of go backwards on our clock to show 35 minutes before we get to the new hour. Now, you guys already know that when it is pointing on the 6, how many minutes is that? That is 30 minutes. If you go back one more 5 minutes, it's going to take you to 35 minutes. We're kind of going backwards on the clock. And so that shows us, it told us that the hour hand is between the 8 and the 9. And then our minute hand would be pointing to the 5. And in 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35 minutes, the hour will become 9 o'clock. So that's another way that you can do a problem like this. 1 5 is 5, 2 5s is 10, 3 5s is 15. Are you having fun yet? 4 5s is 20, 5 5s is 25, 6 5s is 30. Now you're halfway there. 7 5s is 35, 8 5s is 40, 9 5s is 45. Just a few more, all right. 10 5s is 50, 11 5s is 55, 12 5s is 60. And now you're telling time. Boys and girls, keep telling time. Have fun with it. Learn lots and lots. We're going to do way more with time as we continue on through our lessons. Enjoy telling time and have a fantabulous day.